All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can interact with this content. All right. And the best way, in my opinion, is the blog. And you get to the blog by going to myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. But that's a lot to remember or type in, so the best thing to do is wherever you are enjoying this content, look for a prompt of more info, intro, description, something of that nature. You click on that, another box opens or things move down. I don't know exactly. And but it'll either say link to my FX Buddies and you click that, or it will have the link, right? My HTTPS, all that stuff, right? And you click on that and you're there at the free blog, and you don't have to put your email in, and I don't sell anything. All right, I'm looking at something. I'm trying to figure out if it's Iraq or Lebanon, but whatever, I'll do that later. Okay, so today was Friday, and hey, yes, I am. This is your second video probably dated October 17th. To find out why, you can listen to yesterday's episode, or well, it's uploaded today, but it covers the news of October 16th. So, but today was Friday, and it's their holy day, and it's usually slow, whatever. There's a lot of articles here. A lot of news came out, but they're very heavy. They're report types of articles, not the exciting ones about the zeros, right? But it's still all good. They still have a spotlight on them. They're still here until tomorrow, October 18th. Maybe longer, because I wish they would meet with the Treasury. I just would feel, and possibly they are, and they're not saying, because the people that are there, like the Minister of Finance, she's important to Iraq, right? But she's not a decision maker or a deciding factor in country business where the Treasury would meet with her, right? But if they want to pass on a message, or if they have some documents that they need to get to Iraq, where the decision maker, or the perceived decision maker is, then they would need to have a meeting, right? So, yeah, but we'll see. All right, so let's get into it. So, it's my regular time. I put things in order. I'll be more organized. I won't be all scattered all over the place like the other one was. I really felt bad for that. But, we move on, right? Okay, so this is Iraq's $60 billion banking future. The world is watching. All right, U.S. report, banking reforms in Iraq usher in a new era of economic growth. So it's the same guy. Where's his name? The one that I thought was Mohammed Saleh. Oh, I don't even think they have his name in here. Oh, and let me enlarge this a little. But so this goes over a report issued by the Oliver Wyman group, right? On Friday, confirmed that banking reforms in Iraq are ushering in a new era of economic growth. So I would like to see this report. I wonder if they're going to let us, right? The company said in its report, which was monitored by the Iraqi news, Iraq is entering a new phase of dynamic growth and economic opportunities thanks to comprehensive banking reforms led by the Central Bank of Iraq with government support. Now that's interesting, because Remember we saw this when Sadani got in. I'm sure you don't remember, but when Sadani got in, so previously it was all about the CBI. The CBI is an independent body. They make decisions. They're the ones that are going to change the rate. Sadani got in and was like, no, no, no. We're going to work in harmony. And so then it was back. Then they went back to the CBI as an independent body, and now here at the end, we're back to they work together with, government support, right? And which government? Is that the Iraqi government or the US government? All right, so here again they met. It says Ritter Hotel, but it's Ritz-Carlton Hotel. So the banking sector reform program launched in April of 2025. It represents a fundamental shift towards building a more efficient and sustainable banking sector capable of stimulating investment, developing the private sector, and strengthening international financial connectivity. We want that, right? The detailed presentation was attended by representatives of the Treasury. So they were there. US Federal Reserve and JP Morgan, as well as several regional and international banks. So that is very interesting. Don't you think that's very interesting? I do. And I think it's good. All good. Oliver Wyman stated the commitment of all Iraqi banks to the reform program starting in September of this year will allow the central bank to evaluate their performance during the period of 2026 through 2028. Again, I say, don't freak out about that, because changing the money and changing the rate, I feel, is part of the reform. So they do that, right? Then they still have to keep going. They still have to modernize. They have to get all the banks up to the level. They have to work with the Islamic banks, because the Islamic banks are governed by Sharia law, right? So changing the rate is the end of this, but it's a whole new beginning for Iraq, right? Okay, so according to modern global financial, regulatory, and technological standards, enhancing trust and transparency and qualifying them to attract international institutional investors. So then it goes on and it talks about by 2035, the banking sector in Iraq will be $60 billion, with returns ranging from 15 and 20%. So, yeah, but that does nothing for me now, Iraq, so come on. Or whoever's listening, whoever has to release it, we need relief now. All right, so, and then this one, Baghdad confirms its commitment to the economic and financial reform program. So this is, this is what I totally messed up yesterday. And this article came out today, but it's covering that, and it's more concise. It flows better. So yeah, if you were totally confused by me, which happens quite often, unfortunately, reading this article will clear it up. But this is news from yesterday. This is what happened yesterday, right? But I wanted to put it there because I felt bad. Okay, now this US Treasury adjusts to weaker intelligence picture after banking changes in Iraq. So, this is a report. The end of Iraq's old Federal Reserve linked dollar system did much to combat the neighbor financing, but it also removed key financial intelligence streams which the US Treasury were using to identify hostile elements in the country. All right. Oh, I hate when that happens. Okay. So the US Treasury is closely monitoring new anti-laundering and financing procedures in Iraq's banking sector following a multi-year redesign of its dollar payment system. intelligence online understands. So this is, it gives a little bit of a history. I mean, it goes all the way back to 2003, but it doesn't get too detailed. And that's when we switched them over from dinar to dollar. And then it was just the wild, wild west. People were just doing whatever they wanted to do, right? So now we're switching from that, switching them back to their dinar, but they're going to be closely monitored. So, and here is, here's all the parties involved, right? But I thought this had a link. No, but here's all the parties involved. And SWIFT and everything. So that not everyone will be interested in that, but that's a good article. All right, buying fake American satisfaction. U.S. sanctions make Iraqi banks fraud victims of lobbying firms. Is this the one that has? Oh, that's right. You know what? I keep forgetting. This blog isn't live, so the links won't show. No. Anyway, all right. So, a lengthy article by an American national security expert reveals the secrets behind attempts to evade and hide by some networks, banks, and economic activities. So this is a report on what I talked about. It said dark shadows, something or another. If you listened to yesterday's, remember that. But they had another little part about Sudani. So yeah, they're talking about we're watching their banks, and there's people here lobbying, because that's what they do. I really don't want to talk too much about that. That's kind of a dangerous topic as well. But if you read that, you'll see this is another like behind the scenes thing that goes on. What was that? That could possibly be a holdup, but they're not going to say. Okay? But also, if they're putting it in writing, guess what? I think it's resolved, right? Because that's what they do. They put things in at least where I can see them, right? If I can see articles about something, it's probably already done. But they could be posting this so we can see what the holdup was, part of the holdup, right? So, here, now this part I feel comfortable, so I'll read this part. On the other hand, the guy who wrote the report points out if the restricted Iraqi banks have learned one lesson, it is that perceptions can buy time. When sanctions take their toll and access to dollars dries up, they don't reform. They change their identity, modern, conforming, and in line with international standards only on paper. Auditors, consultants, lawyers, and lobbyists are brought in to build a paper trail for reform, not real reform. This pattern has become common in Baghdad's banking sector. So they said, oh, okay, we have to go by all these new rules and these new laws, and we can't smuggle and money launder and, okay. But what's happening? The auditing system is catching them, right? So they say the right things, put the right things out in writing, but they're still doing their alternative ways. I'll say that. All right. So, oh, look, I think I put that there twice, so I'll delete that. All right. Here, look at this. Among them are Iraqis. The UAE offers new services to golden visa holders. So we weren't the first ones to make up the golden visa or the golden card. And to find out that there's Iraqis living in the UAE, you know they have money. They must have money, right? So there's a website there that they can go to, and if they have, they have to have the proper proof and passwords and such, then they get their update. But I just wanted to put that there. I thought that was interesting. Okay, so there's only 2 bits of bad news. Is this one? Oh no, sorry. This is one. Where's the other one? Well, let me see. The 2025 budget schedules will not be finalized this year, and delaying them threatens the work of ministries and agencies. But this is just a member of parliament, and they always have to come out and stick their thumb. What is it? Stick their nose. Something. I don't know. They always have to mess things up. We had a whole week of good news, exciting news, and then here they come, right? But at the same time, I'm going to tell you, listen to this. The file may be postponed to the next government, which means a delay of several months before the budget is finally decided, which will exacerbate financial problems, especially with operating expenses rising to high levels. Okay, this. We can skip this. This has pretty much the same. It's a shorter version of the article that I messed up yesterday. But this was posted today. Right? And it's, if you don't want to read the really long one, then you can come down here and read this one. See, there he is. Saleh Mahmoud Salman. Yeah. Okay. So this is good. This is positive. Highest since 2003. Confirmation of rising non-oil revenues and calls for economic reform. So this will make the IMF and the World Bank happy, right? Because that's what they want. They don't want them totally relying on oil. And it says right here, the U.S. president made a statement about Iraqi oil is evidence of America's arrogant outlook and Washington's treatment of Iraq as a source of wealth rather than a sovereign state. Come here, little piggy bank. Come here, little piggy bank. We're gonna raid you, right? That's how I take that. And the statement they're talking about is how he kept saying, "This is the man with all the oil," right? In reference to Sudani. All right, so if you like what I'm doing, even though I'm totally unorthodox and not professional and not regimented, if you'd like to support my FX buddies, this is how you do it. All right, and it's I always put it in the links. Right, it's, whatever. If you want it, it's there. But I do thank you, and I thank you for the comments. Some of you guys are so funny and helpful and encouraging, and I love it all. All right, so thank you in advance for your support. Oh, yeah, and another way you could support me? You could hit the like button. Thumbs up. All right. Now, let's see. Okay, we're doing good. Here, Sudani again met with another group of people, and it just says Arab and foreign investors. And he's saying, okay, already I've brought in $102 billion worth of investments. So what you gonna do for my next term? Okay? Because, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna have my second term. So now we need to talk about how much money you bringing me. That's how I imagined the conversation went, right? But yeah, so I don't understand, how do they hear him? I don't see any speakers. Maybe there are speakers. Okay. These things here, maybe they're speakers. Yeah, I don't know. It's an awfully big room, right? Pretty, but so yeah, so then they just talk about who was there. A group of sheiks, dignitaries, from another part of the country, right? Academic and intellectual elites. I'd like to be thought of as an intellectual elite. Yeah. Dream on, right? All right, so if you'd like to read that, you can. Yeah, see, we've intensified our efforts to complete more than 2,500 projects, and yeah. And he acknowledges, some are stalled, but we did move forward with some, like hospitals, the traffic relief. So it's a good article. Let's see here. This is another one about the shadow economy. Expert report sheds light on Iraq's economic structures and U.S. policy. And they talk about the recent Treasury sanctions targeting this financial backbone embedded within Iraq's official economy, and the backbone are the banks, right? And this is, okay, so here, this is the original report, and here's the other one. So when this blog is live, if you care to read the original reports, these will link to them, especially this one, The Dark Side of Iraq's Economic Boom. That one was really telling. All right, so, yeah, that's it for that. See, proxies, monopolizing resources, and weakening the country's sovereignty. It almost reads like a movie. It really does. So, here again, cosmetic compliance. So, only on paper, right? Scrutiny under U.S. scrutiny, they hired auditors, consultants to capture illicit activities. But they still continue. But they'll slow down because they're going to keep getting caught, right? Yeah, so if there's a facade, right? The facade of reform has evolved beyond paperwork. So this guy says, no, it's good. Iraq's banks have entered a new phase of image laundering, swapping auditors and executives while the same power networks remain in control. So, all right. Here's the other bad news. But remember, it's just, it is him. Okay. So, same article. I like this one better, and it has his picture. So, see, there's his name. McKeith. I don't know how to say his first name. Okay. But, so he's saying the budget schedules won't get there. So we already read that. And it has a little more detail. This is the big one. Because of intense competition, forming the next government will take 6 months. And this is a member of parliament saying this. Forming the next government may take no less than 6 months, attributing this to several reasons related to the nature of the current political scene. The competition. And let me just tell you, they took out that guy, right? The really popular young guy. They took him out. There's going to be an investigation. They had his funeral was today. There's been 4 attempts to take out others, including a woman, right? Which they don't normally do that, right? I mean, I know it's such a weird, is it dichotomy? Is that the word? On one hand, they treat women poorly, but on the other hand, they also praise women, right? For our capacity to endure, we give life, right? Just a little thing like that. And what's the other thing? There's another thing. I can't remember. But then, so this is maybe the first or second time I've ever heard of them doing a politician. Now, they did take out this doctor, but I think that was a sicko. He probably forcibly had his way with her, and then, to keep her from talking, took her out. But this, assassination is, they've burned down some offices, some of the representatives running, some of their headquarters have been burned down. It's really dangerous there to run. You want to be in government? Okay, you got to make it through all these hoops. Oh, isn't that crazy? All right, I think this is good also, especially since I don't like the New World Order. And I know people, now remember that used to be a conspiracy, right? People thought people were crazy until Herbert Bush, was his name Herbert? Remember he said it? He said it. You need to look up if you don't know. Look up Bush speech 1,000 lights. And see, because even back then, I think I might have even been in junior high school. I was either in junior high or high school. I wasn't paying attention to no politics, right? So later in life, when I started to look into it, that's when I learned about that speech that he gave. And so now it's like no big thing. Everyone knows they were trying to make a new world order. And now, transformations in the New World Order. Will Iraq become a part of the regional changes? So, I hope they will. We need them. It's all centered around them, right? So, so if you want to read that, I'm gonna I have the parts that I liked. Oh, yes, definitely. Let me skip because I want to show you some pictures. Okay, that's a good article here. This is Fuad Hussein. He was in Italy. He was at a thing in Italy for, I don't know what. And then he went to Brussels. And there it is. NATO praises Iraq's role in strengthening regional security and stability. I almost made this the top story, but not too many people care about that. They want to hear about money and banking. But this is important. This is because when Shabibi was here and Blue, dang it, someone told me his name. I know he's Frank's. Blue, it's not Blue Wolf. Blue Angel? Blue something. Asked him the question, what's needed? And he said security and stability. And there you have NATO praising Iraq, right? Here's more about the strategic vision. And this is another good. This is positive. Good, right? Foreign investment, okay? But this is what I want to spend some time on. So, Baghdad remembers Paul Bremer and family banks. They had a symposium in this city here, Almada. This is how our banking system disrupted. And look, it's red. So at the time that they posted this was urgent. So it says, in the presence of Sudanese advisor. So who do you think that was? Yep, Mohammed Saleh. So it was banking reforms, the solutions phase. So they've moved on, right? There's no more there's a problem. How do we solve the problem? Okay, now we're moving into solutions. The session featured a scathing critique of the state of the Iraqi banks. So Mohammed Saleh was there. Samir al-Nasari, that name should sound familiar. If anything, he's the one that I say reminds me of my favorite uncle. This guy, you really don't have any reason to know his name. But Mustafa Hantush, right? That should sound familiar. Hantush. So, they talk about the changes they're making, collaborating with Oliver Wyman. They let the people criticize, and that Mustafa Hantush guy, he's pretty critical also. The banking laws, the stock exchange laws, right? They talked about all of that. So, where is it? Here. These are, okay. So after this, I'll be done, okay? So here, this is Mustafa Hantush, all right? So over here, you can see him better. This is Samir, jeez Louise, Samir al-Nasari. I shouldn't have done that. I think this is that guy that I said his name shouldn't be familiar. He's in a lot of pictures, but I don't know his name. And then here's Muhammad Saleh, okay? But let's go down. I want to show you the people. Okay, so they had a pretty packed room. So these are the citizens that were allowed to come listen and give their feedback, give their critiques. And look, he was taking notes. This is Mustafa Hantush. He was taking notes, and I'm thinking he's probably hoping one of these two retire so he can get in there with them. And then here's, more people, men, women. These are citizens. I don't see any like religious type of clothing. I don't know what you call it, right? You know me and my wonderful vocabulary. But see the presses there? There's the cameras. So I think this was a pretty good meeting. And they will hopefully listen. And these are probably more wealthy people. You can tell they're wearing suits. The women's clothes are nice, right? So, yeah. I think this was a good thing. And look at that, Iraq. This is Mustafa Hantush. This is Samir al-Nasari. That guy there, he's a big guy. Alright. So that was it. I wanted to show you that. Alright, so we'll go back over here. So thank you for your time. It is Friday. I can't even guess if it's gonna be busy, a busy news time or not. So I'm just gonna, if there's something worthy of reporting, updating, I will. If not, I know definitely Sunday I will. Yeah, so enjoy your weekend. Hit the thumbs up before you leave. But hey, don't leave, because if you missed yesterday's episode, well, actually, this morning, it'll be this morning's episode. There'll be a link to it, and you just click on that and you can watch it. And what else? Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals. Pay all your bills. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.